All right, let's talk about something we all know, maybe a little too well: self-sabotage. In this explainer, we're not just going to stare at the problem. Nope. We're going to learn a simple, kind of weird, but powerful trick to finally get out of our own way. It's called the bad draft protocol. Okay, let's jump right in.
Does this picture look familiar? You've got that huge deadline looming, it's basically tomorrow, and you absolutely know you should be working. But instead, you're somehow 3 hours deep into a TikTok rabbit hole, or you've suddenly decided now is the perfect time to alphabetize your bookshelf. It's just maddening, isn't it? That feeling of being completely and totally stuck. So, what's our first instinct when this happens? We beat ourselves up, right? We call it laziness, a total lack of willpower, a flaw in our character. But what if I told you it's none of those things? What if it's actually your brain trying to protect you? Yeah, you heard me. Protection. That's a huge shift, so let's unpack what that even means. To really get this bizarre protection thing, we first have to understand what our brain's real goal is. And spoiler alert, it's probably not what you think. Okay, here's the absolute heart of it all. Your brain is first and foremost a prediction machine. Its number one job, the one it's been perfecting for millions of years, isn't to make you happy or successful. Its main function is just to keep you safe, and it does that by trying to predict what's going to happen next. It loves the familiar. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? This is so crucial to get. Your brain would honestly rather you be predictably miserable than unpredictably happy. Why? Because the unknown, even a good, positive unknown, gets flagged as a potential danger. Safety is in knowing exactly what's coming, whether it's good or bad. So if the brain is totally obsessed with being able to predict everything, what happens when reality doesn't match its predictions? Well, that brings us to something called the prediction error problem. And it's the exact reason that success can, strangely enough, feel really dangerous. Let's just imagine for a second you have this deep down belief, a sort of internal baseline that says, I'm a fraud, or I'm not actually good enough. Then you go and do something amazing. You crush a presentation, you get that promotion. Instead of celebrating, your brain goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. It flags this massive, dangerous gap between that negative belief and this new positive reality. That gap is the prediction error. And that mismatch, it triggers a very specific 5-step chain reaction. Let's walk through it. So first, your success creates that gap we talked about. Then, step 2, your brain immediately spots it. Prediction error, red alert. Which brings us to 3, your amygdala, the brain's little alarm system. It just freaks out. It starts screaming, danger, something isn't right. And that leads directly to step 4. You instinctively self-sabotage to close that uncomfortable gap. And finally, step 5, you end up right back in that familiar, safe, predictable territory of failure. And just like that, the alarm bells stop ringing. Okay, I know, that sounds pretty bleak, doesn't it? Like we're just wired to fail. But we're not. So let's get to the good part, the solution. And it's this really elegant and surprisingly simple way to hack the whole system: the bad draft protocol. Now, the most important thing to realize is you can't just power through this with sheer willpower. Trying to fight your brain's ancient safety program is a battle you're gonna lose. But what you can do, and this is what the protocol is all about, is you can trick it. You can actually use its need for predictability to get the outcome you really want. It is almost laughably simple. This is the whole thing. Step 1, you set a timer for just 20 minutes. That's it. It's a really low-stakes, non-threatening little chunk of time. And step 2, and this is the magic part, your only goal for those 20 minutes is to create the absolute worst, most embarrassing piece of garbage you can possibly imagine. Seriously, not a rough draft, garbage. So why on earth would we aim for bad? It feels completely wrong, I know, but this is exactly how we hack that self-sabotage circuit. We're going to disarm the alarm system before it even gets a chance to go off. Just look at the two side by side. When your goal is to do a good job, your brain, especially if it has that little I'm a fraud program running, sees a very high chance of failure. Prediction error, the alarms start blaring. But when your goal is to do a bad job, what happens? You literally cannot fail. It's impossible to fail at making garbage. Your goal is perfectly predictable. The amygdala stays quiet, no alarm, no procrastination. And this is the beautiful result. By taking the threat of failure completely off the table, you trick your system into just starting. And you know what happens once you start? You build momentum. That terrible, embarrassing draft almost always has a little seed of a good idea in it.
The 20 minutes are up before you know it, and suddenly you're not paralyzed by a blank page anymore. You're actually working. You've completely bypassed the block.
So the big takeaway here is this: stop trying to be perfect from the get-go. Embrace the garbage. The next time you feel that pull to procrastinate, don't fight it, trick it. Set that timer and give yourself complete and total permission to be wonderfully, gloriously bad. So we'll just leave you with this thought. What embarrassing garbage are you going to create today to get yourself moving?